All right, guys. How about we do a little bit of finish work? I've got three that I'm gonna finish today. I'm on video one. Happens to be this one right here. It's actually got a blind eye. Just figured I'd get on here and I'd show y'all how I do it. But let me get this thing set up on the mountain stand, get the camera situated, and we'll get started. All right. So the first thing I do before I get ready to do any kind of finish work, which this is part of the finish work, I'm gonna go through, like I got a little knot or something right here. You could tap them down. I go around my seams. Just if my seam does not lay down perfectly, which it should, typically it'll be like right where your knot is towards the end. You can kind of tap on it a little bit and it goes down smooth. I'm gonna check everything, just go through, make sure everything's going good. Then I'm gonna come in, I'm gonna go ahead and remove my plastic from my nose. Everything went perfect on that. Looking good. Lips good. Ear has turned out good. Alright. So the first thing that I end up doing, get some of this mess out of y'all's way. Sorry. I have been on a tuna fishing trip and left my shop a mess. But it's live action. First, before we even get started, let's grab us a trash bag. Put in my redneck trash bucket. But first thing I do is clean. You've got to clean that mannequin, or I say that mannequin, good Lord, rookie. You got to clean everything that you're going to paint. So I clean with lacquer thinner, which is very important. I just got me a little squeeze bottle here that I'm gonna pretty much use this for everything. My airbrush and all, so I use a pretty good bit of it. And my floor likes it too, evidently. And I put too much in there. Well, how about that to make a mess all over YouTube? Just wasn't prepared, guys. I was not prepared. I just come out here and said, well, I'm gonna turn the camera on. So y'all are getting live action. Alright, so I just take a paper towel. You can use a rag, it doesn't matter. Squirt me a little bit of lacquer thinner on there. We're gonna go through and I'm gonna clean. We've got to paint all this skin, okay? All the skin is getting painted. The hair, yes, is gonna get paint on it, but we're gonna brush all the hair off. All right. Same thing with the nose. Everything that you're gonna paint has to be clean. If it's not clean, your paint will not stick, and every time you go through to clean your hairs, your paint's going to rub off of that skin. So it's very important to clean. That's gonna look, man, that's gonna look pretty cool with, I had a little bit of booger right here, my skin ripped, but that's all right. A little bit of epoxy work. And yes, I'm going to paint as soon as I get done epoxying this thing. And yes, after I get done epoxying, I'm gonna come back and clean it again. Because the cleaner it is, the better your paint sticks. Alright. Alright. Let's get us some epoxy. This is all epoxy sculpt. You can get this off of Amazon, Taxidermy Supply Company, whichever you prefer. But I will leave a link. Anything that I use that you can get from Amazon, I'm going to leave a link down below in the description. That way y'all can just use that link and take you straight to it. Keep you from searching and all that. And it also will help me out. I get a little bit of commission off of it. So if y'all would, go check it out. All right, let's see. You want to eyeball, get close to equal parts as you can. I'm mixing up a little bit more than what you actually need. Well, and to be honest with you, every deer is different, but we may not need this much on this deer, but then again, we may do it. Sometimes your nose will take a pretty good bit, but it depends on how you carve your nostrils out. I typically carve mine out a pretty good bit, just so I can use my modeling tool and build it the way I want it and pack it in there with epoxy. But I typically like twisting mine up. All right, it just helps me get more of an equal part. And then I'll take water. I don't want to dip it in that water. Let's see. I'll just use Windex. Mist it a little bit, and then mix it up. You want to get a nice, consistent swirl, mixing blend of a color. Like, you can't just take it right now and use it like that. Typically, when I get to this point, flatten it out, I'll roll it up again, roll it over, roll it up again, roll it up, roll it over again. There's nothing to it. Roll it in a ball, roll it up again, and just keep doing it. And you can mist a little bit over there, keep it kind of moist and mixes a little easier and don't stick to your hands. All right, now we're looking pretty good. So I'm gonna use this modeling tool right here to use around my eyes. I recommend to use like a piece of wood. Like I've got one right here. I've got this one right here. I didn't clean off. The wood and stuff is soft. It won't scratch your eyes. I do have, as y'all can tell, I mean, the eyes look ugly right now. That's because I have the plastic coating that they're shipped in. I leave them on just so I can keep the eye protected. But I go through and just take a little bit, and you're going to pack it in there, okay? So all we're doing is filling that void. Mash it down in the corners. You just want to fill it completely up. Some people may go nuts how I do this, but this is what I do. I have good success with it, so I roll with it. You don't want your skin, you don't want your epoxy angling up in this motion. You want it either straight in or just slightly down. You don't typically, rule of thumb, you don't want to see any kind of filled in void. And then while I'm on this side, I go ahead, mash what can fill in into the tear duct. Which typically it does not hold much at all. If you see to where your tear duct is opened up and it takes a lot of epoxy to fill it back up, you are not cutting your tear duct slot right. You're not getting it tucked in far enough. And instead of leaving, hopefully y'all can see this, but instead of leaving that little bit of epoxy in there flat, I like to take my scalpel and run a separation in between the two. Alright, you run that separation between that two, and then when we come back here in a minute with our brush and water, you'll smooth that out and it looks so much more natural. Alright, so let's do the nose. See if I can get this on here where y'all can see it. It's going to be kind of difficult for y'all to see, but I just take a little bit, pinch it off, mash it down in. Trying to fill that nose up. And then typically what I do, I take, after I see that I've got it all packed, I'll kind of take it and mash it up, mash it down towards the bottom, take and put the curved end going down, kind of make that nostril, and then squeeze and pull up, take any excess off. Got a little bit right there on the top it needs to be. Alright. Now that I've got that, I'm going to drop my brush on the floor. I like using lacquer thinner to smooth out my epoxy. It just dries quicker and it doesn't soak into the skin. You take that brush after you put lacquer thinner on it and take it and go right through that cavity that I was talking about. That separation of that tear duct. A Q-tip, put a little bit of lacquer thinner on it, go in, spin it and pull. Just go in and dab it. And just smooth them edges and everything out. Take your brush. All you're doing is covering up the foam. Cover up the foam and make it blend into the skin. Alright. Now we can go the other side. Now, once again, we're going to take our epoxy and we're just going to fill our gap up. And you can tell that, see, there ain't much of a gap. It's barely getting any epoxy in there. You're going to have some spots, like when you have, like, in the back of this corner, the back corner of this eye, where that skin was ripped open. You're going to have to do a little bit there, but and a lot of times, like, I don't know if you can see, but a lot of times, most of the time you don't have to do any epoxy sculpt work on the top. It just really depends on how good your skin's stuck. This one, we're gonna put some in there just for the fun of it, but it looks like it was all pretty close. But may have to hold this and hold the camera at a certain angle. It's hard to tell, but we're gonna go ahead and do it anyhow because it don't take long to do it, so no reason to skimp out on it. But a lot of times, not every time, but a lot of time, you'll get it some that you don't have to do it there. And them are the bonus days. And don't worry if you get a little bit of the lashes in there, they'll pull right out of your epoxy work. Put my little glob right in the corner and just pack it down in. Again, the tear duct, you can tell, hopefully y'all can see that. The tear duct's tight. There's not much of a gap in there at all to feel. Probably, to be honest with you, probably don't even have to do it. But I like doing it anyhow, just in case. Sometimes it's hard to tell because of the hair, but and then take your tool, make that separation, get any excess off. Now we're going to come in and do our nose. And you can put as much as you want in there because you can always take it out. Typically what I like doing, I just like packing it full and then squeezing what I don't need out. Our lips good. We're going to take our lacquer thinner, our brush, we'll smooth this epoxy out. Hopefully I'm getting everything on film and ain't making y'all all dizzy, but I've got this new action camera, this DJI Osmo 5, and so far I'm liking it. I'm just trying to learn the positions and stuff so I can get the right footage. So hopefully I got this good enough to y'all can gain something out of it. Now we're going to take our Q-tip, same thing on this side. Typically I like using a brush, but my brush has got some epoxy in it and streaking it up. I'll see if I can't find a different brush here. Maybe I can use this one. I mean, it works. I'd rather it be round. The nose is like one of the hardest spots to try to film, I feel. And it may not, I may be getting it all. But now what we're going to do, get us a paper towel. Let's put some more lacquer thinner on there. We're going to clean everything that we've done touched. Very important. Clean everything, or your paint will not stick. Now, I like taking my brush, going around the burrs, just knock some little crusties and stuff off from your clay and glue. I got, I don't know, glue or most of your glues and epoxy. Epoxy's hard to get off. It will chip off if you get it on your antlers and stuff like that. But your glue and clay residue and stuff, it'll come right off. Ain't no worries. You're not gonna hurt them. They're already dead, so don't worry about it. All right. So now what we're going to do is I typically turn my air down. And I'll run it around 10. Close to 10 PSI. This really depends, but it changes sometimes. Sometimes it sprays good one day on 10, some days it likes at 15, 18. But typically I'm not going over 18. I always like to spray a little bit of I always like to spray a little bit of lacquer thinner in my airbrush, just to get it kind of wet and ready to go. First color we're going to start off with off-white. This is going to be our base color. It's what the rest of our colors is going to stick to. I like to mix it about 80-20. You just hold your finger over the tip and squeeze your trigger. Don't be careful doing it because it will splash back on you. See them bubbles? It's mixing that lacquer thinner in there. It thins it down. Makes it spray a lot better. And we're going to start slowly just misting it on until you start seeing it covering good down in the tear duct. Alright. So now, before I go to my next color, I'm gonna take my rag. Nothing on it, okay? Just a dry rag. Well, I just filmed all that and didn't even get it on film, didn't I? So once you've got your white sprayed, we're gonna go through and scuff it all up, get it off the hair. Now, we're going to come in, we're going to do our pink. I like using natural flesh. Any flesh color will work. Same thing. About 80-20 mixture. 80 paint, 20 thinner. Now, hopefully, I get this on film, because earlier, guys, I'm sorry, I was doing the white and didn't realize that I didn't turn my camera up. Rookie mistake, but here we go. We're going to do the pink. Pink's going to be a lot lighter. I'm going to go in that corner of my eye and fade it down into my tear duct, and then I'll fade some of it on up around the eye. Not a lot, but that's about it. Same thing on this side. Less is more, guys. You do not want to put a whole bunch in there. You just want to kind of look at both sides. Get it as equal as you can. Now we're gonna go in the nose. Now let's see. Use this Q-tip real quick. Go in here and have one little rough spot in there. Alright. Now nose, I cover it all. You're just gonna paint the entire nose. The bottom lip. And that's all I do on the pink. Wash our paint out. They gotta be perfect. Put some down in here too and try to clean. Get a little crusty. Now, the next color I'm going with is cocoa brown. Same thing, 80-20. I'm gonna come in. I'm gonna try to stay away from my center, from my croncula down to the tear duct. I'm not really gonna, I'm sorry. Alright, I'm gonna try my best to stay away from the tear duct and the croncula, okay? We're going to stay away from that. It does not take much of this cocoa brown at all, guys. All this is a hint. I try to stay down here and I fade it up barely, just fading it in. Same thing on top. We're just going to go around and just blend it in. Working your airbrush back farther away will help you a lot. Now, you ain't got to get real crazy about getting all the color out. Doesn't really matter. The next color we're going to use here in a minute is going to be black umber. But before we do that, we're going to clean our paint off. You clean this off every step if you can, and if you don't forget. Every other's fine. If you do it every step, it makes it a lot easier. Then what I like to do is I'm gonna get me, where's it at? Paper towels. I like to cut me a little piece off. That's what I'm gonna use to put in my nostril. And that, we're just gonna make that line for when we're spraying our black umber on here. It don't get down in there and get in our nostril pink color. Just make sure it's fairly even, both sides. You don't want more pink showing on this side than you do over here. And then we're going to take our paper towel again, get it more on the cleaner side, spray a little lacquer on there. We're going to carefully rub this pink off, and that will expose them nodules and help you put that detail in there later on with the Mod Podge. Just highlights them for you. Now we can go with our black. Let me make sure that I shake this up. So what I do first is I do my eyes first. I'm going to spray right on the center of that eyeball. Get it spraying first and just go down around the edges. You're just barely putting paint on them eyelashes till you get the coverage that you're wanting. And then fade it out from the sides, like here, and around towards your tear duct. Same thing on the top. Try to keep it away from the middle. You want to kind of leave that fleshy look in between. It may be hard to see on camera, but it's going on there. Alright, now I'm going to go around the edges of my nostrils, and then I'm going to spray just a little bit on my nose. Doesn't take much. You don't want to just make it super black or nothing. Alright, so what I'm going to do on this one is I'm going to show you a little bit of this. Something I do. I only go about a quarter, maybe, full of black umber. I'm going to use a little bit of dark nose pad, dark gray nose pad. Put me a couple drops in there. Alright, so on the nose pad, I'm going to see if I can get this fixed up at the right angle that I don't screw up on. Hey. Hopefully y'all can see that. But instead of spraying straight on, we're going to spray at an angle. Okay, we're going to spray at an angle this way, and we're going to spray at an angle on this way. I typically start at the top, because the top's going to get the darkest coat anyhow. Come all the way down. Just spraying the coat on. You can see it slowly going on. Come over to this side. If I can do this without getting all in the camera's way. It's going to be hard to do, but just bear with me. As y'all can see, it starts to leave that little bit of flesh look in between them nodules, which is what you want. Then I'll run a little bit down the lip line. Now, it's somewhat of a V that comes up this way, and then it fades out this way. Your whole top of your nose pad is basically just going to be dark. You don't have to. You can kind of make it translucent. Sometimes I make it translucent, sometimes I make it completely dark, just fade it into it. You just create your own, basically. If you feel like it's too bright, darken it up a little bit. Go on the inside, make the edge of that nose pad a little bit darker. Alright, we're going to clean that up. Grab us a rag. And we're going to go through here, clean all this paint off the hair, that most that we can. This one's a little bit more stiffer. And you can run it all over it. that paint's gonna stick to that skin, especially if you cleaned it well. That's why I was talking earlier about making sure you clean everything good. And then cleaning the hairs is what's going to give you, this back brushing motion is what's going to give you that softer look. And now we're ready to do Mod Podge. It's what I like using anyhow. I just got a detail bottle. You can buy these at Hobby Lobby. Just a fine tip on it. And I'm going to go through. I'm on every nodule, you'll see them highlighted. And just put the Mod Podge on. Alright guys, now that the nose is dry, what I like to do is I like to take and put some tape on it, mask it off before I do my clearing on it. So we're going to take a little bit of tape here. Just go right at the edge of the nose pad. Then you can use Crawl-On triple thick, or you can use super fish gloss or sealer from Gary Bowerman. So what I like to do with the sealer, I'll do it for my paint around the eyes. I just stand back about 2.5 to 3 feet and I'll just give it a mist. And then the same thing with the nose. Not much, just a little. And then with the gloss, just for protection, take something, put around that paint up there, around the eyes. I'm gonna just a thin coat on it for now, and I'm gonna let that tack up just a little bit. Depending on how glossy you want the nose, depends on how many coats you do. I'll do 3 to 4 coats. That gives it some depth, and that's how I kind of like mine. I like to have a little bit of depth in it. Just makes them, I think, makes them look, look pretty good. And it don't take long for this stuff to dry. Don't take it long at all. While that coat's drying, what I'm going to do is we are going to get our scalpel blade. I think it's sharp enough. Really need a fresh one to make this work better. Now you can wait, we've done our epoxy before we started painting. Now you can wait until this stuff is completely hard and dry. I typically just go ahead and do it now. Oh, that is pretty sick. I kind of like that. That looks like an old zombie deer. How about that? But yeah, guys. Let's see if we're tacked up enough. Oh yeah. Now this time I'm gonna go up and down. Just try not to spray this on your eyes. Now you can remove the tape. What y'all think? I'd hang it on my wall. Old zombie deer. Well, all right, guys. What do y'all think? I think that turned out pretty good. I believe the customer's gonna like it. We hope so anyhow. But anyway, guys, hey, I hope y'all liked this video. If you did, leave it a like. Subscribe to the channel if you hadn't already. Hit that bell. I almost went blank there. Hit that bell so you'll get notified when I make another video. But hey, guys, we'll see y'all on the next one.